Hello and welcome to another update video about Atom. Looking at the Cosmos Atom chart, it might make sense to start on a daily time frame to give you an idea of the larger, the greater context. And when we look at this chart, we can see that the market produced a 5-wave pattern into the September 2021 highs. However, I have to say with this structure, it's not an impulse. So yeah, it could be a diagonal, it could be something else. You could easily count this as a WXY structure. The main problem I have with this chart, it's not a clean 5-wave pattern. No, it's not. It did not really reach the minimum expectations here for a third wave. While I've labeled it as a third wave with a fourth and the fifth, because it's visually representing a 5-wave move. Based on guidance and guidelines, I would rather count this as a WXY, which is also why I added here in yellow the count of an ABC. The ABC pattern is the primary count. What happens after that, that's always unclear. So it just means be on the side of caution with Atom. Yes, I've got a 5-wave move up, yep, but it's not clear, okay? It's absolutely not clear. So it's just visually like that, okay? And then A wave can be a 5-wave move and a 3-wave move, so it makes sense to have that here. There are 2 bullish wave counts, but one is short-term bearish of these. So I've got here, first of all, in the yellow count, the A wave to the upside, a B wave to the downside, and then we're now moving up in a C wave. So it's basically a larger ABC structure. The C wave could be unfolding right now. And looking at the C wave, we might want to tidy up the chart a little bit because the proportions don't seem to be really okay. Oh, maybe they're not too bad. It's just that this fourth needs to be spread out a little bit. If we are looking at this as an ABC structure, then there are some targets obviously to look at. Typically, the C wave would reach the 100% extension level of the A wave. Where would we get to? It would take us sort of the first target to watch is the 61.8 extension, $56. I would use that as a first target. We can then also add the 78.6 extension level. That would be the next target, which is at $105. And in a very bullish scenario, I could also see $233, but I would forget about that at this stage. It's unrealistic at this stage. We shouldn't really talk about those targets yet. It's a possibility that, that's about it. So that's sort of where we are here. And then we need to look at the microstructure. Looking at the microstructure, if this indeed is a C wave to the upside, then we need to recognize that such a C wave could be, again, a diagonal pattern, or we could be dealing with an impulse. At the moment, at least we could make the case for an impulse. So we're dealing here with a structure from where we have a 1-2 setup. This wave 2 bottomed in October last year. This might be a first 1-2 setup. I communicated to you a trend reversal area, a support area, and we might be already on the move now in the third wave. Then we should still get a 4 and a 5. That would complete a larger third wave. Then we get a 4th and a 5th. Not entirely convinced by this wave count, but it's best we've got at the moment. What would be a target for this larger third wave? Typically, minimally, I would like to see the 1.236 extension, $25, yeah, or $24.50. Can always go a little higher, but that would be a broad target here for this third wave. As I said, can always go a bit higher, which is fine and would work out quite well. Looking then at the 4-hour chart, here we can see that from the October 2023 low, we had a wave 1 to the upside, this wave 2 pullback into the support zone, touching the 50% retracement level a couple of times. We've seen now an attempted reversal. A break above the previous high is an indication that the low is already in, even though the downside structure appears somewhat incomplete. Nevertheless, we have 5 waves down if I count the last move down as a so-called truncation. And now I'm simply watching if we're already on the move higher. Next resistance levels to take out basically here, the B wave top at $11. The next micro resistance is this wave 2 high at $10.55. Then obviously that B wave high, as I said, $11, and then the wave 1 top at $12.58. First Fibonacci resistance can typically be calculated by taking the length of the larger wave 1. We go to the low of that wave 2, and then we're looking at round about $11.60 as the first main Fibonacci resistance. So essentially, as long as the last swing low is holding, which formed here on Monday, it was, yeah, just above the 50% Fib level, I tentatively assume that the low is in. It's a bit too early to confirm it, but it looks okay. We have a reaction. The entire market seems to be a little bit bullish, but it could easily still break down. It's way too early for confirming it, because also the microstructure isn't great. So I don't have a very clear microstructure, so we need to be a little bit more flexible here, and could still assume that maybe it could break down still, right? Also, Bitcoin obviously still is at risk. We talk about that in the Bitcoin video. Imagine Bitcoin losing support. Well, Atom will likely as well. Doesn't mean we break below the yellow support zone necessarily, but it could indicate that. We just sort of go retest basically lower support levels. For example, at the golden ratio level at $8.09, or the 78.6 retrace at $7.18. That's my update about Atom. Hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then please check out the channel membership. Also, make sure that you follow us on Instagram and Twitter for additional content. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.